Welcome back to Skewed Reviews. And today I'm reviewing a film that's currently in theaters. And the movie that I'm referring to is the 2025 film Nobody 2, directed by Timo Tjahjanto. So I was actually a huge fan of the first film, and I'm so glad to see that they did a sequel. Unfortunately, I don't feel like they're talking about it enough. I barely saw any marketing for this, so I'm going to do the best job I can to let everyone else know that you should definitely go and see this film. So first off, let me tell you more about the concept for this. The movie takes place after the events of the first film, where our main character of Hutch Mansell is now living his life, but with his family knowing about what he does for a job. And what he does for work nowadays is being an adjuster, who is someone that goes in and is very well skilled at what they do at causing a lot of violence and taking people down. Unfortunately, Hutch's work has really been commanding all of his attention, and it's starting to get to a point where he may end up losing his family if he doesn't do something about this. So he decides to take a vacation from this current job and literally take a vacation with his family. So the Mansells decide to take a family trip to Plummerville, where there's an adventure park that Hutch went to when he was a kid and is hoping to have as many great memories of that time with his family now. Hutch does quickly realize, though, that he unfortunately does seem to just attract violence wherever he goes. The local police in Plummerville are actually working as runners for someone that has some pretty deep pockets. Hutch, without meaning to, manages to stumble into their operations, causing them to now keep him squarely in their sights along with his family. Now, it's one thing if you mess with Hutch, but you don't mess with his family. This is a really fun action comedy film. I also really enjoy that they had both Christopher Lloyd and RZA come back to play their characters from the first film. But you also have some newcomers in Sharon Stone, Colin Hanks, and John Ortiz that are also some great additions to this. Sharon Stone in general is so good at eating up the scenes when she is on the screen. I'm also such a big fan of Bob Odenkirk in this role. It's basically like watching a comedy John Wick. One of my favorite parts about this film is that Hutch's family gets to have a lot more involvement. Not that they should have in the first one, it didn't really make sense at that point, but I like how they're integrated into the story on this one. So, at least for me, on my scale, I enjoyed this one just as much as the last one, so I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. This movie is currently in theaters, so if you have an opportunity, definitely go and watch it while you can. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Skewed Reviews. If you've already seen this film, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Otherwise, if there's any other films that you think I should watch and do a review for, mention those in the comments as well.